Man, I'm so excited about seeing it again the second time. I am a couple of minutes late because I took so much time in the parking, but there will be some ads, some trailers and all that, and I don't need to stand in the queue for popcorn or anything like that, so I can just go in. Well, after pre-show urination, obviously. It's a three-hour movie. Don't want to get up in the middle of it. Hi guys, so today we are going to talk about Avengers Endgame and nothing else. Why? Because I want to. I watched it again last night and oh man, what a movie. By the way, this one is not a review, it's a discussion, and as such, it's going to be rife with spoilers. Yep, I said it, rife. Before I had this vlog, I used to have a blog. I still have it, and before that also I used to do movie reviews on all different places, some websites, blog and everything. I shared one of my theories one time that movie making has two parts. One is the science of filmmaking and the art of filmmaking. So the art of filmmaking is telling the story, the reactions, the performances, and creating the human drama and all those things. And the science of movie making, science of filmmaking is obviously the camera, the lights, the action. Sorry, not the light camera action, but the lights, the camera, how to place the camera, how to take the shots. I want to do this film noir style. I want to do this in a long shot, close-ups, all those kind of things. And in all these big studio movies, you would see the science of filmmaking is right there. Yeah, people can always find continuity issues and things like that. Yes, that would be there. But otherwise, the science is right there because they have the teams, they have the equipment, they have the money to do it properly, they do it right. But the art of filmmaking, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in this kind of movies, I have another theory. For a franchise like Marvel or Warner Brothers, that kind of thing. So there is another layer. So there are two layers. One layer is that universe which is in the story. So you have a Captain America, you have an Iron Man, you have all those other superheroes, and that's a universe where all these things happen and how they interplay with each other. That's the story. So that story goes there. But these movies exist outside of that universe as well, in our universe, where you have fans. And you have fans who are curious about something, or you have fans who like something more than other things. For example, this is better illustrated with an example. So in Avengers Endgame, you see Captain America versus Captain America. Wow. So it might have a significance in the story, but outside of the story as well, at a meta level, the fans love that sort of thing. Like in the Avengers, you had Hulk versus Iron Man. So that was brilliant. And then Civil War, of course, everybody against everybody. That was fantastic as well. So that sort of thing, the Russo brothers have given us that sort of thing in space, in truckloads in this movie. There are so many things that the fans would love because we want to see that kind of things. For example, they brought back Rene Russo for a couple of scenes, one scene, and they brought back other characters for like Peggy Carter, Howard, Tony's father. So those things, they are amazing because it's like what is it like? So for example, if you like tiramisu, and I love tiramisu, so if I like tiramisu and I've had tiramisu before, that doesn't mean that if I have it next time, it's not going to be delicious. It won't have the same surprise, like, wow, what is this? This is great, kind of thing. But it will still be delicious, it will still be amazing because I love it. It's a delicious dish. Similarly, this movie as well, all these scenes, all these things, I watched them second time and I loved them the second time as well because they have that meta level of connection with the fan that I am. So that's one of the things that I really liked. And also in the same way, in the meta thing, there is the sabotaging the expectations of the fans. So we want something, we expect something, and then we make a theory about it, like it's gonna go like this. These people are going to do it like this. But then the directors go and say, we'll do it like this, or we'll put our own spin on that. So for example, the time theory was all over the internet before the movie came out, and people were like, oh, they're going to go back in time, they're going to do this, and this person is going to be more important than that person, all that kind of all that kind of crap. But they did the time loop, and they did the time loop in a different way. They came up with their own theories, and they kind of subverted some of the previous opinions about time travel that we have seen in other movies. Like, and this is one of the things when you reference pop culture like Back to the Future and Hot Tub Time Machine, all those things, that as fans we also love that. So they kind of went their own way, they put their own spin on it, and then they created different stories from there. And also while doing that, they stayed true to their plot. They stayed true to their plot devices. So for example, if there's Wormy, which was one of my heartbreaking scene. Wormy is where they get the soul stone, and we knew what that requires from before when Thanos goes there, and this time when we see Natasha and Clint going there, and we know, oh, this is not going to end well because we know how to get the soul stone, and we hope that they would probably be able to get the soul stone by themselves and both come back. Nope. Also on the meta level, there goes our hope of getting a standalone movie for Black Widow, unless they do a time thing with that as well, which will be weird. But yeah, so they stayed true to their plot devices, they stayed true to their characters as well. And then Thanos, oh my god, what an asshole. In the first movie when I watched Infinity War, and I said like, okay, you can't hate him too much because he's going to do the wrong thing, but he at least he has a plan. He wants to do the good thing for the world, even though he's misguided and not doing it the right way. But he's stupid. And if somebody stupid is doing something bad, which is going to damage a lot of things, that doesn't make you like them. And I don't believe his claim, by the way. He says that the way he did this before, where he killed half the population of a planet and the planet later thrived, not going to happen. I don't believe that for 1 second. Why? Because it's the whole ecology of the things. When you kill people and then you kill them randomly without actually taking anything into consideration whether somebody is important for the planet or not. So for example, if in that half, if you kill the whole government, if you kill 80% of the government, then what happens? The planet is leaderless. Or if you kill people who were in critical occupations. So that sort of thing is going to have an effect, and you're killing all living things, not just the humans. So that will completely destroy the ecology, and it will completely destroy the morale of the people who are living. So it won't be just 50% of the people. There will be people who lose their wives or their loved ones, and some of them will kill themselves. Some of them will just die from grief. So the damage will be more than 50%, and the progress will be, if it does happen, it will be very slow. And it will never get to that point where you can say, oh yeah, it's thriving because of that. No. Don't believe that. And the second thing, then in the end, in the last fight, he said like, oh, you people are revenge. Have you seen, even if you go for like a small village and if you kill half the people there, they're gonna be after your ass. So that, I think that is pure BS on Thanos' part. But I did love how they progress. This was like a musical, so it all goes slowly, speeding up, slowly getting louder, and then it's the whole crescendo. In the last 45 minutes, they just fight, and then you see Thanos as also a very intelligent, smart, crafty adversary. So, but you have to give him points for dedication, because he sees in the future that he's going to die, but he still goes on the same path. He still goes sets about to do the same thing, even at the cost of his own destiny being so tragic. So you have to give him point for that, but then he's still a madman. He's strong and he's crafty and he's very intelligent, and he has his whole army, and he has especially skilled people like Nebula and that wizard guy. I don't know his name. Keep forgetting. Midnight something. So he has people like that with him as well, but still our heroes are equally dedicated, and they have left, like Iron Man, Tony Stark has left his family in order to take part in this, and he's risked everything in his life and his family's life as well. So that fight is legendary, it's iconic, it's absolutely wonderful, and I liked how they did this. I liked how they did step by step, and on the meta level, I did not want Captain Marvel to be a big part of that. I did not want her to like come in and just save everything. That would be stupid, and I don't like that character very much. That, I think that's the weakest link in the Marvel chain. Captain Marvel movie is the weakest one. But they used her, and they used her in a way that it made me glad that she was there. So they used her only in a couple of scenes, but in both scenes I was happy that she was there to save the day, to keep the story moving forward. But also in that particular point, she was the best person to use. So, and this, I think this is all the directors in Marvel movies, they have done this very well, especially in the Civil War and in this one as well, or the both Avengers, that they use the best qualities of these superheroes and they use their weaknesses against each other as well. That fight in the airport, on the airport in Germany in Civil War, that is a great example of that. So that, and this one, the same thing happens. Oh, this this is the only movie where I think you will see Captain America being evil. When he's fighting his past Captain America, and he's kind of losing because he's got the past one, he's got him in the death grip. And this future Captain America says like, Bucky is alive. So he knows that that is his Achilles heel, and he uses that against his past self. So evil, because he wants to just win that fight. But well, whatever it takes. So that way it is really good. And the last fight and how they did it, how they got it to the last point, the last twist, it was fantastic. I could see, by the way, I don't know, I think you would have noticed it as well. When Thanos lifts his hand to do the snap, you can actually see that when he lifts his hand up, there is no buzz, there is no glow around the glove, so it doesn't have the power. You can actually see that, but you don't actually what has happened. And then they pan to Iron Man, and he's got all the stones in his suit gauntlet. That's fantastic. The other twist that I really liked was the Captain America. I think that's one of the favorite scenes of everybody, where Captain America picks up Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. I think Mjolnir. Oh, it's hard to pronounce that one. But that scene is so cinematic, the way they have done it. And if you remember the Age of Ultron, and there is a scene where everybody is drunk and they're trying to lift Thor's hammer. And if you watch carefully, there is one quick second when Captain America is trying to lift it, and it moves a little bit, and Thor goes like this. And then Captain America stops trying, and then Thor gets like, he's relieved. So there was always that little subtext, there's undercurrent of this kind of a wisp of a rumor, of a hint somewhere that maybe Captain America is a guy who's worthy. So, and then when they play with this, in Civil War, they play with the shield. They pass the shield to each other, Winter Soldier and Captain America, to hit Iron Man, and in this one they hit Thanos, and they keep swapping the hammers, Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. So that was really good as well. So I quite liked it. I quite liked the fight. And the best part was when Iron Man snaps his fingers and he kills all the army of Thanos. And I call it whatever. I am bad, I'm evil, but I'm very vengeful. And I like that he gets to see his army being destroyed and everybody that he's got on his side dying the same way that he was going to kill half the universe. So that was like, yes. And that is the antidote for Infinity War climax. And then he dies himself the same way. And have you noticed that when he dies, he lowers his head, he's ashamed, he failed, he's a failure. So fantastic, amazing end. So I quite like that. As for the loss of some of these main characters, like the Captain America retires and Iron Man dies and all these things, they are sad, but I think that comes from the real world, because there was some rumor about both Tony Stark, what's his name, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. They were both at the end of their contract and they didn't want to continue with that. I can understand that. From an actor's point of view, it can be really boring to be playing the same character for like 11 years. From fans' point of view, yeah, please, more. But for them, it can be really boring, so they probably wanted to be out of it, and which is why they've done it. But I think if they ever want to play another comeback role, I think Marvel can find a way to do this. Other than that, brilliant movie, fantastic movie. There are so many things, so many questions that I have, so many objections I have to things. Only one objection I would mention before I go, and that is those 5 years gap. That 5 years gap when everybody dies and then they start trying again to use the time travel to bring everybody back. I don't believe it would work like that, because in the 5 years, they show that nothing has changed, nobody has moved on, people are still in the same funk, and there are boats piled up around Staten Island and all that. I don't think it would work like that. Either because the ecological reasons that I mentioned earlier, where people, important people die, critical people die, and there are no train drivers, no plane drivers, nothing like that. So the world will go further into disrepair, or people will start picking themselves up by the bootstraps and things will get better. It won't be at a standstill like they show in the film. But they had to use it. It's kind of like a poetic license. They had to use it because their story depends on that. So they had to show Iron Man living in the wilderness. He's living in the countryside with his family. And how adorable is that little girl, Morgan, like, I love you 3000. That's one of the, such a cute dialogue. Very well done with the dialogues actually for all the characters. So they had to use that for that. This is one of the things that I read in a filmmaking book where one of the teachers, she asked, what do we do when we make a film? And the correct answer to that is, we simulate human behavior. That is all that is there. You can take away all the tanks and spaceships and suits and everything. We are simulating human behavior. And that is why I love the superhero movies, because they have very accelerated and magnified circumstances, and still there you see human behavior. So people who are good, even once they become Captain America, they still stay good, they help people. And people who are bad, like Thanos, they do bad things. So that way, there is a lot of human drama in that. Even though they're superheroes, they're still human. So for that reason, they had to show this. And how human behavior will unfold, each director, each writer would have different interpretation of that. So for their 5 years, I don't agree with them, but I won't say that it's crap or anything. It is good the way they have done it. They had reasons to do it from a filmmaking point of view, and they're directors, so they are free to interpret the world in their own way. And I can't even actually claim, because I'm not an anthropologist, I can't claim that it would work that way, because we don't live in a world where there are so many superheroes to save the day. So how can I say that people in that kind of universe, that kind of world will react? So yeah. More power to the Russo brothers. Okay, I'm going to shut off here because otherwise I'll keep going on and on. This is why I didn't make any notes for this, because otherwise I would be doing this for hours. I can talk about this, but I will make a couple more videos about this, like maybe about the unanswered questions and things where I do want to object, like this thing is a little bit weird, but those can be separate videos in their own right. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, if you are a geek like me, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.